Good evening. Yes, welcome to part one of this Emerson radio, and I do not know the model number because there is no tags on it. This is the one that I picked up at the Jewett City Flea Market last week, along with the Air-O-Ear and the Gonset G66B radio. And yes, this is strictly AM, Bakelite case. It could shine up pretty nicely, I would imagine. So let me get started. Unfortunately, there are no knobs for these. Most of the time when you get these radios, you're lucky to get a radio in a case to begin with, never mind knobs. So let me put you on a little tripod here, and let's just open this up and take a look at it. First of all, my glasses on here. I still didn't clean this bench off as good as I wanted to do. Three-quarter inch. Bolts underneath. I'll put that over here. On these Bakelite cases, these go in pretty tight. You got to be careful not to over tighten the mounting bolts because you can crack the Bakelite. Bakelite is fairly strong, does not flex very much, and will break. No, we gotta hold this up here so we don't have the radio come sliding out. Typical 5-tube, All-American 5. Let's take a look here before we do anything else and see if we got any. Nope. Just an empty case, no model number, nothing on the bottom. So we have no idea what model it is. I would have to look on Google and look through the pictures. This type of radio wouldn't use a grill cloth. It just has a slotted grill here. So let me put this out of the way so I don't break it. Well, the voice coil is rubbing. I cannot do anything with that short of replacing a speaker. Emerson Radio Corporation. Let's see if the dial works. Yes. I've been lucky with dial cords. This is not going to be a difficult radio to work on. And what a difference from that Gonset. Now that's the way I can work on things. Even changing tube sockets in this would be a piece of cake for even somebody like me. You can see how corroded, well, maybe you can't see it, the electrolytic is. So what I usually do, this has got to, see what this is. Okay, this is serial number. And then it says 105 to 125 volts AC DC 30 watts. Okay, that came off the chassis somewhere. I will put it up here so I can glue it back on when I'm done. This is my little cleaning brush to clean the chassis. which I don't like to do here. The shop is pretty dusty from all that. The cord is not in bad shape, but it's not polarized. So I would have to change that and wire that. A lot of waxies. This has not been touched. I have no idea where this seller at the Jewett City Flea Market gets all his radios. No idea. I'm hoping he's going to be there. Today is Friday, so Sunday I plan on going there. There is the Woodstock, Connecticut Fair coming up this weekend, but I'm not going. I went to the Brooklyn Fair last week, and I don't have quite as much money on me as I had last week. But basically, as long as I went to one of the major fairs, I'm okay. And the cord don't look too bad, but I will change it. So it's 8-pin octal. So let me get you a close look of this. All right. Not too bad. Well, it's pretty musty looking. Looks like a relatively easy restore. So the first thing I'm going to do, remove that electrolytic. Start working on these caps and getting that out. Kind of fungi looking, isn't it? Fungi. Boy, that sounds pretty bad. But sometimes they don't sound too bad. A voice call rubbing will give distortion. But one thing at a time. Got a little rust on the chassis up here, and I'll probably take some navel jelly and treat that a little bit. It's kind of an onion. Something's wrong with the tube base here. See how that metal base is moving on that tube? I've never seen a tube base do that. See it? So we'll get to it. We'll pull all the tubes. I'll try to clean the chassis as much as I can, or clean the tuning capacitor with CRC cleaner and lubricate the ball bearings that are at the end. See them in there? You always want to put some oil in there. You can use grease, but I like to use oil in there. I think that does a better job. But to each his own. But yeah, that tube base don't look too healthy, and I imagine that probably the glass will come right out. It looks white in there on the plate, so it's probably gone to air. Field coil speaker, which acts as a choke also. Audio output transformer on the speaker frame. Okay. First thing I'm going to do is work on the chassis underneath. Alright, I've been working on it, believe me, about an hour just to do this. I got to solder this yet. I got this one in. I took out the electrolytic. It's a 30 and a 50 microfarad at 150. and the electrolytic goes directly to the chassis, the negative. And of course, as always, the switch is switched on the ground, which is wrong. So I'll be removing this cord and putting a polarized cord in, which I'll have to see if I can find one. I don't know if I do have one or not, but for now I can put it through an isolation transformer to try it out when the time comes. But we got a ways to go yet. We got 2 more caps over here I got to do, and there's a mica cap here. This is the audio output tube. This is the rectifier. I don't see any depth caps across the line. Alright, my soldering iron's heating up here. So go back and put that connection on. Alright, I need a 0002 microfarad and I don't have it. 0.0002. And it goes right in there where those 2 little hooks are that I made. See the one on the top and the one on the bottom? You can probably see them. So I'm at a standstill here. I got the capacitors in without too much trouble. I used the heat shrink that's not the heat shrink. I used the spaghetti tubing that was on the old caps. Not a very neat job, but and that's the story of my life anyways. This has 3 pieces of heat spaghetti tubing on it. One was the lead that was on the old cap right here. Then I hooked this, and this is the new cap, and I added 2 pieces here. So now we got to put in a 0.0002 microfarad in here. So I'll be back on this, so don't go away. The one and only electronic place around the area where you can buy anything is Jan Electronics in New London, Connecticut. And they are very, very, very expensive. But I picked up a few little things that they put in the envelope for me here. These 5-watt resistors here, not for this radio. This, by the way, I'm still working on the EMERSON, of course. And I don't know what the model number is. $1.50 a piece for these 5-watt, the 220 ohm and the 22 ohm, just to have them on hand, because your series string sets usually use these. I mean, if I went to Mauser, I'd get them cheap, but they'd pay about $8 for shipping, so I never buy from them. I buy my stuff from eBay. I know what I'm dealing with there. A little dilemma, and it's math related. Alright, let me show you. Alright, where I showed on the video there's 2 little hooks where I do my hook and pinch. This is what came out. It's a 0.0002 microfarad solar capacitor. You may not be able to read that. I'm using the ZE1, but this is what I use for long project videos and restoration, or actually repair. So 0.0002. I have a big problem with math, converting this over to microfarads and picofarads. I had one of the owner's sons at Jan Electronics. Jan Electronics and I go back many, many, many years, back as far as the late 70s. But I don't get a discount there anymore. When I used to work for Aikens Electronics, I used to get a dealer discount, or almost a dealer discount, but there's $1.50 for this one little capacitor. And he converted it over to a 200 picofarad capacitor. He had to look it up. All right, when it comes to that stuff, I just don't know, you know, because my meters read in this damn crappy nanofarad stuff. It doesn't read like 0.0002. It reads in nanofarads, and I'm totally confused with that. I do not recognize nanofarads, period. We did not have them in the 70s, in the 60s and the 70s, when I was very active in radio repair. Now, being that these capacitors are waxed and they're leaky, I can put them on my, well, I cut the lead so short I can't even get the capacitor checker on them, but when they're very, very leaky, you cannot even get a reading on the ICO or the Sprague Telemic, whatever I use. But those will read in microfarads and picofarads, not nanofarads. So I've got a chart somewhere that converts that, but it's put away in my paperwork in the shop here, and I don't want to waste any time. So, to play it safe, I got a 200 picofarad. That's what he picked out. By the same token, I picked up a 300 picofarad, and this one's $1.75. Just to have it on hand. So, this whole shebang cost me $8.23 for this, and about 1/8 inch thick heat shrink tubing, which I can use for spaghetti. It's about 5 foot long. That was they charged me $1.50 for that. You can't buy spaghetti tubing anymore, and you need the larger diameter stuff for these radios. So I've been using what's in here, what come off the components, because I didn't have anything else. I do have short pieces of heat shrink up here, but they're only like about an inch and a half long. So where you see those little hooks that I made in there, that's where that capacitor goes. And that's one of the advantages of clipping the leads very short on a leaky capacitor. That gives you a long lead necessary to mount stuff like this, because these leads are very short and they would never reach from one end to the other. Plus I'd be struggling trying to get it down into the tube socket. Of course, we've got a switched chassis, which is going to be corrected. We got the ground. All these radios seem to do that. They all seem to take the one side of the line, connect it to the switch, and directly to the chassis, which is a no-no. And we will correct that. So, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just give myself a little break off of this, and I'm going to clean the cabinet. Alright, I got some of this cleaner here that I used on the siding of the house that my neighbor gave me. It's very strong stuff, but we're going to try to clean the inside of this, and we're not going to spray it on here, because I don't know if that's going to affect it or not. We'll do that with Windex. We'll use a cloth around here, and we'll just carefully put it on the inside and see what happens. So, first thing we'll do, we'll wipe this out. If you notice, there is absolutely no model number, nothing on the inside, nor on the bottom. Okay, I have no idea what model this is. All I know is it's an EMERSON, probably in the 1940s. Ain't too bad. But I got to be careful. I don't want to hit this because I don't know if this spray will damage the plastic. If it was glass like the other radio, there would be no problem. So I'm going to continue working on this on the inside, and then we'll just give a little amount on the outside here. You know what that is? I bet you that's nicotine. See what it's doing? It's all turning brown. It's not shining up at all though. Let's take it out by the spigot. It looks nice, but when I dry it up, it won't stay that way. I'm going to get some shop towels and dry it up here. Well, it looked better when it had water all over it. Really, it's not that good. But I'm no good at cabinet stuff anyways. What I used to use, I've had a couple of Bakelite radios many years ago back in the 60s, and I used to just put Old English on it and you know, it looked good until it dried out. I just redid the top. Look at that green crap coming off of there. I hope that's not the Bakelite that's coming off. Bakelite's not green, it's black. I think whatever is on that, oh, it's disgusting. I'm going to work on it a little bit more. I don't know. I keep getting this off. I think it might be part of the cabinet. It can't be cigarette smoke. Not that much. 5 or 6 times I'm going over it and I'm constantly getting this out. I think it might be the actual stuff from the cabinet itself, because this is a very, very strong cleaner. Very strong. You're supposed to wear gloves, but I never do. And no matter how many times I spray it, see how clean this is? So I'm going to just rinse it off and call it good. Because I think that's probably part of the cabinet. I don't think it's what I thought, like with cigarette smoke. I don't think it is. Because it would be black. The cabinet's not green, but this stuff is. So I don't know. This stuff is green. And I'm just going to rinse it down with the... I mean, look at this. I don't understand.
That's gross.
It's just constantly coming off. I could be here all week trying to do this. One more. I'll be using all my towels up. Look at this. 2. I might be able to use this one again. We'll take it and rinse it off one more time. I'll be right back. All right, when the sun hits it, it's nice and brown, okay? Now, that's it. I'm not going to keep going over it. I'll be using 10 rolls of this stuff.
Well, you can buy more.
Well, buy, that's all I'm doing. But the point is, I think it's part of the plastic.
Could be.
You know? Maybe this cleaner is so strong that it's taken away some of the plastic. I could be wrong, but I have no idea what the heck it is. Because how much cleaning can you keep doing on it and it dulled right up again? So I'll probably put Old English on it, but not now. I just want to get the cabinet clean so that I can get the radio back in when the time comes, and then we'll hit it with Old English.
That's a radio polish, isn't it?
Huh? What? This is the cleaner I'm using.
No, I'm talking about the Old English. Isn't that a radio polish?
It's a furniture polish. It's what we used to use back in the 60s.
Oh, okay.
That's what we always used to polish our furniture. It covers scratches and everything else. It works good. It looks really nice. There's probably better stuff out there.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful day out here today.
Yeah.
Low humidity.
Yeah.
Tomorrow we go to Jewett City. If all goes well.
I want to clean the plastic, but I want to do that with it's sticky a little bit. Maybe because it's wet, that's all. I mean, this is the strongest cleaner out there. This will take anything off. I'm just wondering if that's what it's doing here, is maybe taking off some of the finish. It was never painted. You can see how nice it looks when it's wet. It shows a nice brown color. It really looks good. I think Old English is what I got to use on this. I don't have any waxes. I don't need to go out and buy stuff for one cabinet. I'm not into the hobby for that, you know. Well, I'm sure if I hit it again, I'll come up with more green stuff, so I'm going to call it good. Dull as hell, no shine to it at all, but I got a bottle of Old English, and the bottom's got more of a shine than the rest of it. I'll clean this with Windex later, but now it's good enough that the radio could go back in. And I'm going to go back in the shop and got to work on the radio. Okay,